There is a noise in the world, a relentless hum, a constant clatter, voices competing for attention, thoughts racing without pause, distractions pulling you away from the one thing that matters most, yourself. You live in a culture where silence feels like emptiness, where being alone is confused with being lonely, where the mind is filled with everything but peace. But what if I told you that silence is not the absence of sound, it is the presence of truth? That in the stillness lies a power greater than any noise outside. In every great life story, from Edison's dark night spent alone in his lab, to Lincoln's solitary walks through the snow, to the quiet meditation rooms where ancient sages found clarity, silence was the crucible of their awakening. It's the space where the soul speaks, where your deepest purpose calls you forward. Because the world may shout, but only silence lets you hear. Today, we embark on a journey together to step out of the chaos, to reclaim the quiet within, to awaken the voice of your soul. Imagine for a moment the last time you sat still, truly still. No phone buzzing, no emails waiting, no to-do lists scrolling through your mind. Just you breathing, present, undistracted. How long did it last? Seconds? Minutes? Or was it swallowed by the noise before it could even begin? This silence, it is not about escaping reality. It is about connecting more deeply with it. Because silence teaches you the language of your own heart. It reveals the beliefs buried beneath the chatter. It shows you the path obscured by distraction. In silence, you begin to understand that your thoughts are not you, that your fears, doubts, and worries are passing clouds, and that beneath it all is a calm, unshakable core. Now, this isn't easy. Our minds are trained to fill silence with noise, to avoid the stillness, because it forces us to face ourselves, all the parts we hide, deny, or ignore. But those parts are exactly where your freedom waits. Your growth, your transformation, your awakening, all begin when you dare to listen. Think about Edison, working for countless nights in solitude, not afraid of failure, not distracted by the outside world. His silence was the canvas where invention came alive. Or Lincoln, sitting quietly by the fire, wrestling with doubt and despair, yet finding the courage to lead a nation through its darkest hours. Or Disney, who retreated to quiet moments of imagination, allowing dreams to whisper to him, crafting worlds that inspire millions. You too can learn to find strength in silence, to let it sharpen your mind, soften your heart, and ignite your purpose. Silence is a teacher that never speaks aloud. It shows you what matters by what it does not say. When you cultivate moments of quiet, you open a door to insight that will change how you see your challenges, how you understand your desires, how you connect to the people you love. This is the first step toward living with intention, because when you hear the call of your soul clearly, you begin to live differently. Your mindset shifts from reacting to the noise to responding with wisdom. Your beliefs change from what others expect to what your heart knows. Your vision clears from confusion and overwhelm to clarity and focus. The world may try to drown out your voice, but silence helps you rise above. It is a sanctuary where your soul whispers the truth you need to hear. And today, as you listen, I want you to feel this. Your soul is calling you to be more than you ever imagined, to live boldly, to love deeply, to create meaning in every breath. We will explore this journey together, how silence builds resilience, how it cultivates gratitude, how it demands discipline, and how it connects us all in the profound truth that life is not about noise, but about presence. So take a deep breath with me. Let the silence settle. And get ready to hear the call that has been waiting for you all along. The silence you seek is not just quiet, it is a space alive with possibility. It is where the seeds of your greatest ideas take root, where your mind sheds distraction and becomes a clear lake, reflecting your true self. But how do you find this silence in a world designed to keep you busy? The answer begins with understanding your mindset, the invisible lens through which you view every moment, every challenge, every opportunity. Your mindset is the foundation of your experience. It colors your reality, shapes your actions, and determines whether the noise of the world controls you or you control the noise. Consider Henry Ford, who revolutionized the automobile industry not just by inventing a machine, but by daring to think differently in a time when the horse and carriage were the norm. He cultivated a mindset that refused to accept limits imposed by others, a mindset that thrived in the quiet conviction of his vision. Your mindset is that quiet conviction. It is the voice within that says, I am more than this moment's noise. It whispers, I have a purpose beyond distraction. To cultivate this mindset, you must practice listening to your thoughts, your emotions, your intuition in silence. Because it is only when you pause and become still that you can recognize which voices belong to you and which belong to the crowd. Many people confuse the loudest voice for the most important one, but noise is often the mask of fear. Fear that you won't be enough, that you'll fail, that you're not worthy of your dreams. Silence strips away those masks. It reveals the core truth. You are enough. You are capable. You are worthy. This is not mere self-affirmation. It is a profound shift in belief. It is the difference between being a passenger on the bus of your life and being the driver. Beliefs are the architecture of your reality. They create the framework through which you interpret every experience. When you believe you are defined by your failures, you limit your potential. When you believe you are a victim of circumstances, you surrender your power. When you believe your dreams are out of reach, you stop chasing them. But silence invites you to question those beliefs. It asks, are these thoughts really yours, or are they inherited from the world around you? Remember Walt Disney, who once said, all our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them. His courage came from challenging the limiting beliefs of his time and listening instead to the quiet voice of possibility inside. When you practice silence, you create space for new beliefs to emerge, beliefs rooted in your true self, not in fear or doubt. This is the power of mindfulness, a practice born from ancient wisdom and validated by modern science. Mindfulness trains you to observe your thoughts without judgment, to anchor yourself in the present moment. In the silence of mindfulness, you discover that your thoughts are not fixed truths. They are passing clouds in the sky of your awareness. And in that awareness lies freedom. Vision is the compass that guides your journey. Without it, silence can feel empty, even lonely. But with vision, silence becomes fertile ground, a canvas for your dreams to take shape. Vision is more than a goal. It is a vivid, living picture of the life you are committed to creating. Think of Abraham Lincoln, who faced the darkest days of a divided nation, yet held on to the vision of unity and freedom. His vision was the beacon that sustained him through trials no one could imagine. Your vision must be equally bold and unwavering. It is the light that cuts through the fog of doubt. But vision requires discipline, the daily practice of showing up, even when silence tempts you to retreat into comfort or avoidance. Discipline is not about punishment. It is about devotion to your highest self. The greatest minds in history practice this devotion. Thomas Edison famously said, genius is 1% inspiration, 99% perspiration. His silence was filled with disciplined effort, a relentless pursuit of his vision. Action is where silence meets the world. It is the bridge between your inner truth and outer reality. Without action, silence is just a moment. With action, it becomes a movement. Your actions do not have to be grand or spectacular. They must be consistent and aligned with your purpose. Gratitude is the heart that beats beneath action. It transforms the mundane into the sacred. Gratitude in silence deepens your connection to life itself. It reminds you that every breath, every step, every challenge is a gift. Adaptability is the wisdom that silence teaches you in times of change. Life is unpredictable. Noise often amplifies fear of the unknown. But silence anchors you. It shows you that flexibility is strength. Resilience grows in the soil of silence. It is the courage to rise again no matter how many times you fall. Learning becomes a lifelong journey when you listen closely. Silence is the space where knowledge sinks into wisdom. And above all, love and self-acceptance flourish in silence. When the world's noise fades, you meet yourself without judgment or pretense. You see your wounds, your scars, your shadows, and you choose compassion. This is the light that transforms pain into power. You learn to love not despite your flaws, but because of them. Because the soul knows that true strength is born from vulnerability. So, as you step back into the noise, carry this silence within you. Let it be your refuge, your guide, your power. Listen for the call of your soul. It is the quietest voice, but the most profound. Your life is waiting for you to answer. In the stillness of silence, clarity emerges like the first light of dawn breaking through the night. It reveals what the noise often conceals, the truth of who you are beneath the roles, labels, and expectations. Imagine the lives of giants like Nelson Mandela or Maya Angelou, people who endured unimaginable pain and hardship, yet emerged as beacons of hope. Their strength was not just in their actions, but in the silence they held within the deep connection to their purpose, their values, and their unwavering belief in humanity. This silence is not absence. It is presence and invitation to fully inhabit your life with intention. When you cultivate presence, you become aware of the moments that truly matter. The smile of a loved one, the warmth of the sun on your skin, the steady beat of your own heart. Presence transforms ordinary moments into sacred experiences, and presence is born from silence. Because in silence, distractions fall away and your senses awaken. You begin to notice what's real, what's meaningful. Your mind, once overwhelmed by the clamor of daily life, becomes like a calm ocean, reflecting the vast sky above. This calm invites insight deep, transformative insight. Insights that shift your perspective from scarcity to abundance, from fear to faith, from separation to connection. These insights are the seeds of transformation. Take, for example, the story of Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist who survived the horrors of a concentration camp during World War II. In the midst of unimaginable suffering, he discovered that even when all external freedom was stripped away, the freedom to choose one's attitude remained. That insight born from silence and reflection became the foundation of his philosophy, which teaches us that meaning can be found in every circumstance. Your silence holds this same power. It allows you to pause, to reflect, to choose. Vision, however, is not static. It evolves as you grow. When you listen deeply to your soul's call, your vision expands beyond your individual desires. It reaches out to touch others, to serve a greater good. Purpose is born at this intersection of self and service. When you live with purpose, your actions carry weight. They ripple outward, inspiring change in ways you may never fully see. The great leaders of history like Martin Luther King Jr., Mother Teresa, and Mahatma Gandhi were driven by this purpose. They acted from a silence filled with love and conviction, creating movements that changed the world. Your purpose is no less significant. It is the light you carry into the darkness. But purpose requires discipline. Discipline is the daily choice to honor your vision, even when the path is difficult. It is waking up when the world is still asleep. It is working when distractions beckon. It is saying no to comfort in favor of growth. Discipline is the bridge that connects dreams to reality. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb. His discipline was not born from force, but from faith in himself and in the process. Faith, too, is a form of sincere, quiet trust in the unfolding of your journey, even when the outcome is unknown. Action is the manifestation of your inner work. Without action, silence remains an idea. With action, it becomes reality. Yet, action without alignment can lead to exhaustion and disillusionment. That's why gratitude must ground your efforts. Gratitude transforms labor into love. It shifts your mindset from I have to I get to. Gratitude is the heartbeat of resilience. When you face setbacks, gratitude reminds you of your strength and the lessons embedded in struggle. Adaptability flows naturally from gratitude. It teaches you to bend without breaking, to embrace change with grace. Because life is not about rigid control, but about flexible flow. Resilience is the gift silence cultivates. It is the courage to rise again and again. It is the fierce commitment to keep moving forward, even when the path is shrouded in uncertainty. Learning becomes a lifelong companion on this journey. Every mistake, every failure, every heartbreak is an opportunity for growth. The silence within allows you to integrate these lessons deeply, transforming pain into wisdom. Finally, love and self-acceptance are the culmination of this journey. When you listen to your soul in silence, you encounter yourself fully. You embrace your imperfections, your shadows, your light. You recognize that you are whole exactly as you are. This love is radical. It frees you from the need for external validation. It empowers you to live authentically and boldly. As you open your eyes and return to the world, carry this silence with you. Let it be your sanctuary, your compass, your source of strength. Your soul is calling. Will you listen? The moment you choose silence, you choose to step away from the chaos choice that many fear because it feels like stepping into the unknown. But this unknown is where your soul lives, where your truest self waits patiently, ready to guide you home. Think about the great innovators Steve Jobs, Nikola Tesla, Leonardo da Vinci, how much time they spent in quiet contemplation away from the noise of the world. They understood that innovation does not arise from distraction, but from deep focus and listening to the whispers of the mind and heart. When you cultivate silence, you create a sacred space for your inner voice to grow louder than the external chatter. It's in this silence that you discover your beliefs, the lenses through which you see the world. Beliefs shape your reality, but many of them are inherited or absorbed unconsciously. Some limit you, like shadows that obscure your vision. Silence is the light that reveals these shadows, giving you the power to question and transform them. Imagine what your life would be like if you could shed the beliefs that no longer serve you. What if the fears that have held you back are simply stories you've told yourself, stories that dissolve in the presence of awareness? This is the alchemy of silence. It turns old wounds into wisdom, doubt into clarity, and confusion into insight. Once you have embraced this inner clarity, your vision becomes clear, not just a vague dream, but a vivid image of who you are meant to be and what you are here to create. Vision fuels passion, but it also demands courage. Courage to face your fears, to break free from the familiar, to walk a path less traveled. Consider Amelia Earhart, who dared to fly across oceans despite the doubts of many. Her silencer, inner resolve, was her co-pilot. She listened to her soul's call and refused to let fear dictate her journey. Similarly, your vision needs that same boldness. Purpose naturally follows. It is the heartbeat of your vision, the reason behind your actions. Without purpose, success can feel hollow. With purpose, every step carries meaning. Discipline then becomes the daily practice of honoring that purpose. It's the bridge between intention and reality, the muscle that strengthens with each act of consistency. Look at the athletes, artists, and leaders who have mastered their crafts. Their discipline is a silent commitment to devotion that keeps them moving forward even when motivation fades. Faith in the process becomes your anchor. Even when the results are not immediate or visible, faith sustains your journey. It's the quiet assurance that your efforts are planting seeds, even if you cannot yet see the harvest. Action without reflection can lead to burnout. But action grounded in silence is purposeful and aligned. Gratitude grounds this action, turning your efforts into acts of love. Gratitude opens your heart to the beauty of the journey, the people who support you, the lessons you learn, the growth you experience. With gratitude, you become adaptable. You learn to flow with life's changes, embracing uncertainty as a space for possibility. Resilience then rises naturally. It's the ability to bounce back from setbacks, to find strength in vulnerability, to keep walking even when the path is steep. Learning becomes your lifelong companion. Each challenge is a teacher, and silence is the classroom. Love and self-acceptance are the final gifts. They free you to be fully human and perfect, evolving radiant. In silence, you meet yourself with compassion, embracing your story without judgment. So as you move forward, remember this: silence is not emptiness. It is fullness, a fullness of presence, purpose, and peace. Your soul's call is waiting to be heard. Will you answer? Now, let's talk about the practice of silence, not just as a concept, but as a daily commitment that transforms your life from the inside out. In our hyper-connected world, silence has become a rare treasure. Notifications, messages, endless streams of information crowd our minds and scatter our attention. The constant noise doesn't just distract you, it disconnects us from ourselves. But what if each day you created sacred moments to step away, to disconnect from the external and reconnect with the internal? This is where transformation begins. Imagine waking up before the world stirs. The air is still, the sky slowly brightens. In these quiet moments, you sit not to rush or plan, but simply to be, to breathe, to listen. Meditation is one ancient tool that channels this silence. Not the forced empty your mind kind, but the mindful, compassionate presence that allows thoughts to flow without judgment, returning your focus gently to the breath. Scientific research has shown meditation's power to rewire the brain to increase focus, reduce stress, enhance emotional regulation. But beyond science, meditation is a doorway to your soul's voice. When you meditate, you hear the subtle nudges of intuition, the ideas, the feelings, the truths you might otherwise ignore. And as you deepen this practice, you cultivate patience. You learn that answers don't always come immediately, that growth happens in cycles, sometimes fast, sometimes slow. Patience with yourself is the cornerstone of this journey. It's the acknowledgement that silence is a practice, not a perfect state. Alongside patience comes presence, the ability to fully inhabit each moment. Not living in regrets of the past or anxieties about the future, but grounding yourself in now. This presence brings clarity. Clarity about what truly matters. Clarity about the values you want to embody. It's easy to get lost chasing goals shaped by others' expectations or fleeting desires. Silence helps you peel back those layers, revealing your authentic purpose. Purpose is not a static destination. It evolves as you do. Your purpose is your North Star, but how you navigate toward it will change. It demands flexibility, openness, and trust. Trust in the process of life and trust in yourself. Trust is cultivated through small actions repeated over time, showing up when it's hard, speaking your truth, honoring your boundaries. In this trust, you build resilience, the inner strength to withstand storms. Look at Abraham Lincoln, who faced failure after failure before leading a nation through its darkest hours. His resilience was rooted not just in ambition, but in faith, in a greater purpose, and in his own capacity to grow. Similarly, your resilience will be tested, but silence will help you listen to your inner compass and keep moving forward. Let's also speak about love, the greatest force in this journey. Love is not just romantic affection. It is the fierce, unconditional acceptance of yourself and others. Love is the soil in which your purpose and resilience grow. Without love, success can feel hollow. With it, every challenge becomes an opportunity to deepen connection to yourself, to others, to life. Self-love is perhaps the most radical act of silence. It requires you to quiet your inner critic, the voice that tells you you're not enough. Replace that voice with kindness. Treat yourself as you would a dear friend. This simple act can transform your mindset from scarcity to abundance, from fear to faith. When you live from this place of love and silence, your actions ripple outward, inspiring others. You become a beacon, a living example of what it means to listen deeply and live fully. So I invite you, starting now, to claim your silence. Create those moments of stillness every day. Let your soul's call grow louder than the world's noise. Your life will never be the same. Because in silence, you hear not just your own voice, but the voice of all possibility. As we move deeper into this journey, it becomes clear that silence is not simply the absence of sound, it is the presence of something infinitely more powerful, awareness. Awareness is the lens through which you begin to see your life in its fullest complexity. It's the moment you stop reacting automatically and start responding consciously. When you practice silence, you create the space to notice your thoughts, your emotions, your patterns, the very script that has been running behind the scenes. Think about Thomas Edison, who famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10 ways that won't work." His resilience and innovation did not come from rushing headlong into action, but from persistent reflection and awareness. His silence, his willingness to pause and observe was the crucible of his genius. In silence, you become your own Edison. You cultivate the patience to test, fail, learn, and refine. You move from chaos to clarity, from reaction to creation. But awareness is not only about self-reflection, it's about understanding your place in the greater web of life. As the ancient philosopher Lao Tzu said, silence is a source of great strength. It connects you to the flow of the universe where everything is interconnected, where your choices affect not just your own story, but the stories of countless others. When you listen to the silence within, you begin to hear the whispers of nature, the pulse of the earth, the rhythm of the stars. You tap into a wisdom older than time itself. This wisdom teaches you humility, the recognition that you are a part of something far greater than your individual self. It teaches you gratitude, the deep appreciation for the gifts, the lessons, and even the pain that shapes you. Gratitude is the antidote to scarcity and fear. It rewires your brain to focus on abundance and possibility. And when combined with silence, gratitude becomes a powerful force for transformation. Imagine ending each day with a moment of silence, reflecting on what you are thankful for. This practice shifts your mindset from what's missing to what's already present, from lack to plenty. As you cultivate awareness and gratitude, your vision for life becomes clearer. You no longer chase external validation or material success alone. Instead, you align with a deeper purpose zone that resonates with your soul's calling. Vision is the compass that guides your journey. But vision without discipline is merely a dream. Discipline is the bridge between intention and manifestation. It's the daily commitment to show up, to do the work, even when motivation fades. It's the silent promise you make to yourself that your dreams deserve action. Henry Ford once said, "Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Your beliefs shape your reality." Through silence and awareness, you become conscious of limiting beliefs, those stories you tell yourself that hold you back. You begin to challenge and rewrite these narratives, replacing doubt with faith, fear with courage. This is not a one-time act, but a lifelong practice. Each day is an opportunity to choose your thoughts, to shape your beliefs, to strengthen your discipline. And as discipline deepens, so does your capacity for action. But here's a paradox. True action emerges not from noise or frenzy, but from calm, focused intention. The most effective leaders, creators, and visionaries throughout history have known this. They harness the power of silence to fuel purposeful action. So in your own life, learn to balance activity with stillness, doing with being. When you cultivate this harmony, you discover a rhythm that sustains you through challenges and propels you toward your highest potential. Silence teaches you that sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is nothing at all. Simply listen, observe, and trust the unfolding. In that trust, you find peace. And peace becomes your foundation for everything that follows. Peace is not just a destination, it is the soil from which every great transformation grows. It is the silent sanctuary within you where resilience is nurtured, where your spirit replenishes, where your deepest truths are whispered. In the world of business and innovation, figures like Abraham Lincoln and Walt Disney understood this well. Lincoln, facing the darkest days of a nation, often sought solace in quiet reflection before making decisions that would alter history. Disney, whose imagination created worlds that inspire millions, credited moments of stillness with unlocking his creativity. This peace you seek is no different. It's not an escape from life's storms, but a refuge amidst them. It gives you the strength to face hardship without losing your center. And hardship will come. The flames of pain will test your will, challenge your faith, and push you to the edge of what feels possible. But it is within these flames that your true light is forged. Think of the lotus flower, which blooms most beautifully from the muddiest waters. Or consider the phoenix, a myth that has endured for centuries, rising anew from its ashes, stronger and more radiant than before. Your pain, your suffering is not a curse, but a catalyst. It strips away illusions and distractions. It refines your character. It calls you home to yourself. In silence, you can hear this call clearly. You recognize that pain is a teacher disguised as a tormentor. It pushes you to question what matters, to reevaluate your priorities, to embrace vulnerability as strength. Vulnerability is the gateway to authentic connection with yourself and others. It dissolves the walls built by fear and pride. When you live in alignment with your authentic self, your relationships deepen, your work gains meaning, and your days become infused with purpose. But purpose is not a distant goal. It is a daily practice. It is choosing actions, thoughts, and attitudes that reflect who you truly are beneath the noise. Purpose demands clarity of vision and courage of conviction. It requires you to listen not to the loudest voices outside, but to the quietest voice within. That voice is your soul speaking through the silence. When you answer that call, you begin to live deliberately. You let go of the trivial, the urgent distractions that clutter your mind and cloud your heart. You focus instead on what elevates your spirit and contributes to the world. And here, gratitude returns not as a fleeting feeling, but as a foundational way of being. Gratitude transforms challenges into opportunities, setbacks into lessons, and the ordinary into the extraordinary. It shifts your perspective from scarcity to abundance, from isolation to belonging. As you move forward, remember, the journey from pain to hope is not linear. There will be days when silence feels like emptiness, when hope seems distant. But these moments are part of the process. They invite you to deepen your practice of mindfulness, to return to the present with kindness and patience. With each return, your resilience grows. You become more adaptable, more capable of navigating life's uncertainties. You learn that strength is not about never falling, but about rising each time with greater wisdom. And as you rise, you become a beacon for others. Your story, the flames you have endured, the light you have found, becomes a source of inspiration. It shows that no matter the depth of the fire, hope is never beyond reach. In this truth lies your power. So embrace silence, listen deeply, walk boldly. Your soul's call is waiting. Will you answer? And now, as we arrive at this moment together, the closing chapter of this journey, you stand on the edge of something profound, not just an ending, but a beginning. The silence you once feared has become your greatest ally, the flame of pain now transformed into a steady light of hope. Throughout history, the greatest leaders, artists, and visionaries have taught us one unshakable truth. Transformation happens not in the noise, but in the quiet spaces where we confront ourselves honestly and courageously. Like Edison, who failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb, it was his unyielding faith and quiet persistence that illuminated the world. Like Carnegie, who rose from poverty by mastering the discipline of focus and gratitude, we learn that greatness begins within. This is your time to claim that greatness, not by mimicking others, but by listening deeply to your own soul's call. The world does not need more noise. It needs your unique voice, shaped by your experiences, refined by your trials, and brightened by your hope. Ask yourself now, what is the silence telling you? What is the quiet whisper beneath the chaos? Is it urging you to forgive, to release, to love more deeply? Is it calling you to pursue your purpose with unwavering passion, to build a legacy of meaning, service, and kindness? Let this silence be your compass. Know this: every moment you spend cultivating stillness, gratitude, and self-awareness, you build a fortress within, one that no external storm can breach. Your resilience will ripple outward, inspiring those around you to find their own light. Remember, the journey from pain to hope is not traveled alone. When you open your heart and share your story, you become a beacon of courage. You remind others that silence is not emptiness, it is the birthplace of clarity, wisdom, and peace. Now, take a deep breath. Feel the calm that comes from answering your soul's call. You are not defined by your hardships, but by your response to them. You are not alone. You are enough. You are ready. And this is just the beginning. If this story has touched your heart, if it has awakened something within you, I invite you to join this community of seekers, dreamers, and doers. Subscribe to the channel and become part of a movement that honors growth, purpose, and love. Together, we will walk this path, transforming pain into power, silence into song, and hope into reality. Thank you for listening, for being here, and for daring to answer your soul's call. Until next time, keep your heart open, your mind clear, and your spirit strong.